What's up? It's Jeremy.
I'm Sam.
And we're Marian Hill. And you're watching 101.9 KINK Radio in the Skype Live studio.
Very nice. Marian Hill here in the Skype Live studio. First of all, thank you for stopping by here today.
Thanks for having us.
I'm curious to know which one of you, or maybe it's both, is the junk food thing. I've been following you guys on Twitter, and you made a stop on your way up the West Coast.
That was definitely me.
Okay. I'm just like, neither of you look like you gorge on fat. I mean, look at me. I'd be that guy.
Oh,
but,
it's the capes, you know. It's the capes.
Sure, which we can't see. But
exactly. Point.
Man, what's interesting is like, you guys are relatively new to the music scene, been out for a few years, but your Wikipedia is kind of lacking in some details. So when that happens, because as the audience that comes here regularly, Wikipedia is my place to go for knowledge. So I oftentimes will go to other interviews you've done just to kind of see what questions you're being asked.
Yeah,
and
it's a good resource.
You've been in some, and this is me saying this, so you guys can react appropriately. You've been in some awkward interviews with some of these like baby internet.
It's a grab bag. There's all sorts
there's
of
a
stuff.
mixture.
Yeah.
The best one, though, I got to say, was this French woman who spoke. She spoke to you in English, but it was all transcribed in French. But I thought she asked some really great questions, and so that's kind of the one I focused in on. So I'm now going to interview you in French.
Oh my God!
No, I'm just
Do
kidding.
it. We've been training for this.
Very unique sound, and I think that's kind of what you
Thank
got
you.
into with this French woman. How do you, genre-wise? Do you describe yourself in any sort of genre?
The go-to, as I say, the Uber driver answer has been electronic R&B.
Okay.
As sort of a catch-all. Another thing we often go to is Drake meets Ella Fitzgerald.
Nice.
Which is a little more of a specific
Yeah.
one.
And you, Samantha?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It's
Yeah.
pretty succinct. Yeah.
I think, and again, I can't remember if this was an interview or Wikipedia, but you were described as being kind of more hip-hop influenced. And Samantha, Jeremy, by the way, if people are trying to figure out who Jeremy and Samantha are. Samantha was more pop, you were more hip hop. You remember Donnie and Marie? They had that song, Little Bit Country, Little Bit Rock and Roll.
Yes.
You should work something out there.
A little bit
Come up
hip-hop, a
with
little
your
bit pop, yeah.
Yeah.
To
act
describe
two,
it,
you know.
kind of what you're all about. But you guys grew up together, is that right?
Yeah.
We did.
We went to middle school and high school together.
But it wasn't until years later that you guys kind of came together as music collaborators.
Definitely. I feel like high school is a really early time to collaborate as an artist, especially I think both of us were still figuring out who we were as writers on our own. And it was nice to come back together to write once we were a little more solid on our feet in that regard.
And how did that come together? Was it just like...
It was like the way we caught up when we were away at school. We'd be home on breaks and it'd be like, oh, I should see Sam one day. And what we'd end up doing is playing each other's stuff we'd wrote, talking about it. And then, like, as the years went on, it became like, hey, maybe you could sing on this. And then I was making beats that were getting better and better. And I played her Whiskey one day, and we wrote to that. And it turned into the style you were talking about that we had to define and figure out.
And that, if I'm not mistaken, that's something you actually put out on SoundCloud, and it kind of got away from me a little bit.
Yeah, back in the SoundCloud glory days.
Yeah. Yeah. Nowadays, if SoundCloud works, it's a good day. We're slamming on
No
SoundCloud.
I grew up on Hype Machine. And that was a lot of where I found music and got excited about new artists. And I combed through it one day. And near the end of college, I had a couple projects that I was like, you know what? I'm going to try it out. I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to throw it to the internet. And
it was funny because I actually didn't want him to release it.
Really?
It's true. I had to really fight her on it.
I'm glad, 3 years later, it worked out. But at the time, I was just working on a lot of like really glossy pop tracks, and I was like, "What is this thing that we made?"
I mean, hearing it, like he's using your voice for for a lot of that song there, and I'm sure you do that often. My question is this contraption here. Do you have a name for this machine? This enterprise?
I can tell you all of it. I've been calling it my spaceship. Our tour manager Alex Crispin designed and built it for me. So
do you put it together
with these
yourself?
Nice wings. He does a lot of it. I can set it up every night, but the build is definitely all him.
Samantha, in a pinch, could you come up here and plug some stuff in? Maybe not.
Yeah, sure.
No.
Here, I'll yank out a bunch of chords, and we'll see if you can put it back together.
Is it functioning?
We won't do that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to have you here in the Skype Live studio. You're performing at the Wonder Ballroom tonight, so everybody go check them out at the Wonder Ballroom. The new album, you got a full-length album out now called
Act One.
Act One.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping we're going to hear some of that today.
You will.
Yeah.
You'll be
All right.
hearing two more songs from it, and then a little special something that we only play live.
All right, well, let's get to that right now. Marian Hill here in the Skype Live studio.
Thanks.